Okay. Good?
Yep.
Alright. So like I was saying before that, because we went through really quick on that one Sunday, I was going to do the recap for both Proverbs 22 and 23, and we won't go over the whole chapters. I just picked out what I feel to be the points of the chapter before we move on to 24. Proverbs 22. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. If you're really rich, but people hate you, it's better to be liked and loved and not have any money. So what do I mean by that? There's this one guy that I listen to a lot on his podcast and everything, pretty knowledgeable guy. He said he had two grandfathers. One was like this trust fund having, invested in stocks. He was a financial advisor and all of that, and he had quite a bit of money. And he asked him one time, he was like, what do you think about all this money and like everything you built? And he's like, well, I've been pretty lucky. He's like, okay. And then he died, family came in or whatever. He had his other grandpa that lived in what we would call the holler, but he called it something else, whatever they call it up north, just way back in the boonies. But he had about 5 or 6 different kids, a lot of grandkids, and they were all in and out of his house all the time. When he died, the whole family was there, the funeral was packed, and he died kind of happy. One guy had a bunch of money, died, a couple family members came, whatever. The other guy had a lot of family that came in, a big impact. So one was rich, but was he? The other one wasn't rich, but was, in the sense. He died happy, whereas the other one just kind of faded to nothing. So the rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. A prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. What does it mean, foresee evil and hide yourself? What if you know a fight's about to break out? What if you know there's some people coming to where you are and they're going to want to drink, they're going to want to party, they're going to want to do all that? What if sin's coming to you? Do you stand there and fight it? No. You get out of its way, you run from it. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. He gets out of the way so he don't have to deal with it all. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Amen.
So church, first and foremost, you needed to have them be teaching them and having them read about God, about Jesus. That's what's going to give them the base, the grounding, the foundation that Gary's talked about to build everything up. That being said, also, you got to teach them valuable skills to live in life. How to build things, how to grow food, how to do animals and stuff. But also, might just be a personal preference. My kids will have a blue belt in jiu-jitsu that is mandatory, because if you just have that, you don't have to worry so much about fighting or any of that for the rest of your life. And I don't want to have to worry about them when they're out with a bunch of kids and stuff. So, and here we go with this one. The slothful man saith, there is a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets. That is the 2021-2020 verse of both years. We're combining them both for that one. So what does it mean? The slothful man saith, there is a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets.
That means you won't go to work. He's saying, there might be a lion get me if I leave the house at least.
Coming up with excuses of danger to not do things. I would go to church, but I don't know. I don't want to get sick like everybody else. We got to go to Walmart anyways. Right? So a slothful man saith, there is a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets. Your excuse not to do something. A lot of people's excuses they didn't even know they had 2 years ago that made them stop going to church now is going to be their excuse that they're going to have to try and pitch to God. I'm not God. I don't know what to say for them. But when you're going up there and you're saying that to God, I have a feeling, if you said it to me, I'd be like, oh, okay. So I can only imagine what God's going to say to him. Work out your own salvation in fear and trembling. That's what Eric says all the time. The mouth of a strange woman is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of the Lord shall fall therein. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. It's a lot of parents' favorite verse, right? He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. Even the Bible says don't give your money to rich people.
Yeah.
You got it right here. So people will give them money, saying they'll be blessed, when all they do is give your money to other people so they get the recognition for it. I don't know. We don't really fall into that a lot here. I don't see it in a lot of churches or anything around. But it's just funny, isn't it, that there are billionaires through Christianity. It's kind of sad in a way. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. Anybody ever made friends with an angry man, and then eventually you had to get angry and get in a fight as well just because you were with him? I told y'all my story. I won't tell it again, but yeah, I learned if my friends want to fight and I have no part in it, I have no part in it. I'm just going to stay out of it. I had to learn that the hard way. Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? Surety. You guys know what surety means in this case, right? I've said it like 3 Sundays. It's co-signing. Why would you co-sign it? It says it before, don't co-sign for strangers and don't co-sign for those coming in at the gate. But this one just says, why would you be sureties for other people's debts? If they have nothing to pay for those debts, then they're going to come after you. That's how co-signing works. If the person doesn't pay, and then they come after you to make you pay for that now. Now, I know sometimes if you have like kids or something like that need help getting started off, you can do that. Huh? But in other cases, this Bible even says, do not do that. Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. So what this is saying, remove not the ancient landmarks which thy fathers have set. They're tearing down a lot of statues here recently. A lot of those statues, not all, but some of them weren't even put up until the 70s, and they were just doing that to do the exact opposite effect that is happening now. They tear them down to enrage one side, they put them up to enrage another side. That's what was done for back then. By the same party, funny enough. But, remove not the ancient landmarks. Why did Solomon even say to not tear down the ancient landmarks? Why would he not want them removed? Step 1, or one of the steps of being a tyrant, being a takeover, you remove the history and then you rewrite it. You change the truth itself. So he was saying leave them up so they can remember it. Yeah. But in the same sense, this is what we're going to fall into a little bit here, and why I'm not really sure how I feel about it. We got Moses in the wilderness when all the snakes came down and were biting people, and God said, hey, make a snake statue, a statue of a serpent, and when they look upon it, they will be healed from that. So they kept that statue on down throughout the ages, and then eventually, years and years later, people would pray to that statue, worship it, leave offerings to it. So one of the kings, and I always forget his name, it's biblical, he's in Kings, realized people were praying to the statue, and he was like, no, God doesn't want you praying to any image, any false idols. So we had it destroyed, and God said, good job. Even though that was my statue I had built, they changed the reason for it. I'm glad you took it down. So we got to be careful about what we put into the statues and idols and all that anyway. But we still have it. Don't worry. It didn't go anywhere. Yeah. Snake statues and symbols are in everything medical, ever. Anywhere you want to go, no matter what medical. If it's a foot doctor, I guarantee there's some snake involved somewhere with it. Why, I wonder. Ambulances, pharmacist. Something to think about. Proverbs 23. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings and fly away as an eagle towards heaven. Easy come, easy go, right? Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desireth thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. You ever kind of went somewhere you didn't really fit in, but the dude just really wanted to make you feel welcome anyway? It's like, oh, eat. Oh, be merry, just do whatever. My house is your house. Like, I don't even know you. Why are you saying this? It's because of a connection. He wants to make connections with you. So later, he's going to be like, I remember you were at this feast. Well, now I need this. will you do this for me? And then you get on down the line, you could be into a good mess. And also, if they see you eating with the king, it's the company you keep, right? So if you go out and try to relate to the people that king is oppressing, like, well, what are you talking to us for? You go and party with them all the time. So now you lose your witness or that to the king. Even just eating with somebody can really hurt your witness with all of that. A little graphic sometimes. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up and lose thy sweet words. And that's exactly what it was talking about. Now that you've eaten with the king and you've taken in his meats and all of that, you will throw it back up and it will lose its sweetness. Your words have no more meaning because you're now associated with that bad thing. Speak not of the ears of the fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. There we go, parents. This one's for you. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. For thou beat him with the rod and shalt deliver his soul from hell. Which is more important? Which are you going to be more thankful for? Like, oh, I'm glad you disciplined me, or I'm glad you didn't discipline me, but now God is. Who do you think is going to discipline better? You or God?
God.
Yeah. My son, if thine heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. Yea, my reins shall rejoice when thy lips speak right things. Let not thine heart envy sinners. How many of us have done that? I know I sure have. Guilty of this one a little bit. Envy sinners. You see the big rich people like flying around on a jet or driving a cool car. You're like, man, that's a cool car. I wish I had a car like that. You ever said that? Just barely that little thought right there. You're envying sinners. Like, oh, I wish I had a big nice house. Or look at that awesome farm. It's huge. I wish I had that operation. Well, you're envying sinners maybe. But be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long. You don't have to say, well, God's not going to do anything right now. I don't have to be afraid of him at this moment. This says, be in the fear of the Lord all the day long. For surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. What was Satan cast out of heaven for? For jealousy, for envy, for wanting what God had. He wanted that for himself and took the angels with him. Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh, for the drunkard of the glutton shall come, and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Prodigal son, before he was a prodigal son. This was preaching to him. So be not winebibbers among riotous eaters of flesh. What is riotous living? Spending money for pleasure unwisely. That's what we can break it down to. And so if you're drunk all the time and you're just eating at super fancy restaurants, buying nice clothes and everything, pretty soon you're not going to be able to make a house payment. And you're not going to be able to make a car payment. And you're not going to be able to go to this restaurant. It's going to be McDonald's for you for a while. And then you're going to have to start selling off other things. So they will come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Buy the truth and sell it not, also wisdom and instruction and understanding. So they took care of us. When we get older, we got to take care of them. It's just what it is. It's only right. It's only fair. You should want to anyway. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. Here we go. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men. We talked before, why compare it to a deep ditch? What does it mean she's a deep ditch? Why does he use that, of all things?
Hard to get out.
It's hard to get out once you get in, right? It's easy to fall in if you don't see it. Once you get in, it's hard to get out. You can see out, you just can't get there. And a strange woman is a narrow pit. Why this example? Same thing. It's very hard to get out of it. Very hard to get out once you fall in. She lieth in wait for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men. How many mighty men, including the dude who's talking right now, fell to women? That's their superpower. That's what we gotta watch out for. Who hath woe, who hath sorrow, who hath contentions, who hath babbling, who hath wounds without cause, who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, and they that go to seek mixed wine. So it's saying, if you're drinking or drunk, you have all of these. You have sorrows, you have woes, troubles, you have contentions, fights, you have babblings, you just say things you shouldn't say that embarrass you later. Who hath wounds without a cause? Have any of you ever been super drunk and woke up hurt and had no idea how it happened? Yeah. Who hath redness of eyes? It's just a side effect. Through tarrying along with the wine. So look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth its color to the cup, and when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. So it has this good look to it, like, oh great, it's fresh wine, I bet it's so good. But you know at the end, you're going to drink too much of it. If people could just take one sip and be fine, one glass, it wouldn't be that big of a problem. But a lot of people can't. So at the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. What does that mean? If you're a drunkard and you drink, you shall be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. Can you walk in a straight line when you're drunk? Why? If everything's moving. You ever got drunk and closed your eyes? Room starts spinning. Yeah, so this is what it's talking about. You're not going to be able to stand upright. You'll be laying like you're on the sea or on top of a mast. Back and forth, can't get your balance. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. So you got sick even though you weren't. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. And what this is saying is no matter what it does to you. So they have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. If you're perfectly healthy and then you drink alcohol, and you drink a lot, what's going to happen?
You're going to get sick.
You're going to get sick and you're going to throw up. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. That's the thing. You don't feel a whole lot when you're on alcohol. You can be out in the cold. Some people freeze to death and a lot of other things. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. You ever woke up hungover, like, oh man, I feel awful, I feel terrible. And then you're like, I'm never drinking again. How many people say that when they're hungover? I'm never drinking again. And your friend calls you, he's like, hey man, you know what we did last night? Like, yeah, I remember. He's like, well, come over, we're going to do the exact same thing again tonight. And you're like, alright, I'll be there, give me a minute. Why do you do that? And this is exactly what it's saying. That's even biblical. You're going to do that. So that was a recap of Proverbs 22 and 23. Let's move on to 24. I'll go through this a little bit quick. Be not thou envious against evil men. There we go again. Neither desire to be with them, for their heart studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. They always got a plan. And not only do they have a plan, they got a really, really, really good one. And they are miles and miles ahead of us. If we started right now, we would not be able to get up to their plan, knowing the intricacies of it or how far they are ahead, until it was way too late. Until we were like dead, they'd already be 10 miles ahead of the road. In terms of chess, they are 4 moves ahead. That's biblical too. They're going to be smarter and devising than us. I'm glad we don't understand all of that. But you need kind of a weird mind too. Through wisdom is a house builded, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth at the gate. He that deviseth to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. What does that mean right there? The thought of foolishness is sin. Just the thought of it. What does foolishness mean in this sense? If I think of a funny joke and I say it, did I just sin? The thought of foolishness is sin.
And foolishness gets you in trouble.
Will get you in a lot of trouble. Here we go. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. How many people are so about something, and the minute it gets a little bit hard, just jump ship and bail. All the time. The minute your job's okay, the minute it starts getting a little bit work, or they change a little bit on you, oh, I don't like that place anymore, I'm out of here. You go into churches. I like that church, it's okay. The minute one little thing goes weird, like 2020, 2021, you bail. How strong were you in the first place? How strong are you now? If thou forbear to... Alright, this is a little bit of a tongue twister. It's a little bit wordy. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain. So there's people that are on death row, about to be tried, I guess. If thou sayest, Behold, we knew it not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? Who ponders the heart? Who pondereth the hearts of men? God ponders the heart. So if thou say, human, Behold, we, human, knew it not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? So there are people ready to be slain. They're coming out. You don't know if they did it or not. And you're saying, kill them. Kill them. God knows. And he's saying, Behold, we knew it not. Now what if there's somebody that's up there and they're like about to be killed for murder. They've been tried and convicted. And now you're saying, he didn't do it. He's innocent. Free this person. Free this person. Either way you can go there. God knows. God's going to consider it. He's the one that ponders the hearts. And you can either keep your soul or say you didn't know, and he shall render unto every man according to thy works. So the bottom line of all that is, God's seen it. God knows whether you're innocent or guilty, even if nobody else does. So God knows whether that person's innocent or guilty. I'm going to sit here and keep my mouth shut about it, unless God tells me not to. My son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb, which is sweet to thy taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul when thou hast found it. Then there shall be a reward, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwellings of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. So this is a little interesting here. This he goes from telling good men to watch out for evil men, and now he's switching it to telling evil men to not do that to good men. This is kind of a weird thing Solomon's doing here. Now he's speaking to people who probably aren't going to be reading this, even though at the time it was just his Proverbs, knowledge going out to all his people. For a just man falleth 7 times, and riseth up again. But the wicked shall fall into mischief. Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth. Ooh, did that hurt anybody else but me? No, just me. Y'all a bunch of righteous people. When somebody you don't like gets hurt or something bad happens to them, you're not like, told you. Or, should listen to me. Yeah, all of us do that. That's not good. You shouldn't do that. This is a hard one, though. And even Jesus said, pray for your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you and afflict you. It's hard, Jesus. Come on. But just because it's hard doesn't mean we should faint in the face of adversity, because then what is our strength, right?
That's right, amen.
Lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. So really, if you want to see wrath come upon him, you shouldn't laugh or be happy about it. That's how he's really going to get punished. Because God said, Rejoice not when thine enemies falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth, lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. So he doesn't punish him if you laugh at him. I know, it's weird, right? It's a slippery slope you gotta deal with.
Yeah.
Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. He's really getting into being envious of the wicked here. For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. My son, fear the Lord and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. Given to change. What's happening in the world right now? A lot of changes. How many of them do you like? What's some good changes that are happening? Yeah, exactly. So this one even says, my son, fear the Lord and the king, meddle not with them that are given to change. For their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knoweth the ruin of them both? So their day is coming. These things are also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. Ooh, what about this one? What about your friend versus a stranger? You know your friend did wrong, but that's your boy, right? So you gotta take his side with it. He that saith unto the wicked, thou art righteous, him shall the people curse, nations shall abhor him. But to them that rebuke him shall be delight, and the good blessing shall come upon them. Every man shall kiss his lips that giveth a right answer. So what this is saying is, if somebody's doing evil, and you're just supporting it, like, oh, that's the right thing to do in this case, everybody's going to hate you. Other nations even are going to hate that person. Don't call evil good and good evil. God is not like that at all, obviously. This one's interesting too. Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house. What's step one of this plan?
Foundation.
It's not the foundation. Prepare thy work without. It means go in the field, plan it, even if you don't have anywhere to sleep that night. Do the work first. Why? Because the work is what's going to get you the money and everything to build the house. Work first, make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house. Be not a witness against thy neighbor without cause. Pay attention to this verse, save it, mark it down, because in the next 5 to 10 years, everybody's going to be telling on everybody. I've said it here. It's just the way we're going in it. It's creating a rat society, a snitch society. It's already started in the military is how I know this. They're trying to get you to rat out all your friends for taking the vaccination, not taking the vaccination, for doing things they're not supposed to be doing on post, off post, telling on your officers, telling on your soldiers. It's horrible, and everybody's hating it right now. So be not a witness against thy neighbor without cause, and deceive not with thy lips. Say not, I will do so to him as he hath done to me, eye for an eye. I will render to the man according to his work. God's going to do punishment. Don't, just because somebody does it to you doesn't mean you have to do it back to them. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the fence thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. And then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it, and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. So, one day poverty is just going to show up at your doorstep. You're going to wake up, you're not going to have any money, and all your stuff's going to be broken down. And thy want as an armed man. This is going to be a little bit more forceful. Now you really want these things that you wish you wouldn't have been neglecting this whole time. That is Proverbs 24. So don't be lazy and slothful. Build your fields before you try to build your house. Don't be envious of evil men. All the other good stuff. There's a line about in the church. Got a lot of good things in those 2 chapters, but that's it. We'll continue on with 25 next week.